So, good morning. For the very last time before Christmas. It's Christmas Eve. It's Sunday. Unfortunately, a disaster has befallen us. My trusty friend, the kettle. The switch has broken. My poor kettle is dead. Thank you, old friend. You have served me well. However, the kettle is dead. Long live Russell, the new kettle. So let's see what we've got for Christmas Eve. Oh, number 24 is Power Coffee House Blend. 4.5 out of 5 strong. I think that's what we need for Christmas Eve, just to power through until Christmas Day. Get those presents possibly still bought. You need to go out, lads, come on. And wrapped, and also do all those other things like remembering to get everything out of the freezer today so that when you try and cook it tomorrow, it's not a disaster. This is your public service announcement. Right, let's make some coffee. Might just top that up a bit with some water. So, Christmas Eve coffee, day 24, and it's Power Coffee. Oh, crikey. Okay. I have just discovered how Santa manages to do all that stuff and stay up all night tonight. He must be drinking cups of this. Oh, I could be awake for days here. So then, saving the best to last, and for a little bit of a segue from Power Coffee to Power Slides. So these are Revo Slot Group 2 Mark 1 Ford Escorts. I've got 2 of them. I've got quite a lot to say about these, so this might take a while. These are the best Group 2 Revo Slot cars, without any question, because they're not necessarily the fastest. On this track, the Alpha is the fastest. They're not necessarily the smoothest. However, they are definitely the most fun and the most forgiving, and in many ways the best handling. These Mark 1 Ford Escorts handle like a Mark 1 Ford Escort. They're a little bit tail happy, they love a power slide, and they're just a cute shape really, and they've made some really good liveries of these. I mean, there's 2 releases now of this, so I think there's 6 liveries in total. This car, when it came out, and this is another one of these things that shows Revo Slot learning. This car, when it came out, was quite famously supplied with the wrong pinion. There was a 12-tooth pinion on here, not a 9-tooth pinion, and it made the car a little sluggish on a small track, slow to accelerate. It wasn't the best. So there was then a world shortage of Revo Slot 9-tooth pinion spares. But it doesn't matter because you can put a slotted one on, as I did. And then they run a lot better. Latterly, these ones, they've all come with the correct pinion. It works great. Revo Slot did put their hands up and admit somebody picked up the wrong box of pinions when they were building all of these. And that's just how it is. So this car was my second Revo Slot, I think. It's absolutely knackered. The chin spoiler has come off it and I've glued it back on loads of times. It's lost a mirror. I'm not quite sure how it's still got a mirror in there. It's had several crashes. I've run it so low with such worn out tyres that It's worn all of the paint off the black back tray. It's destroyed pretty much. I've had so much fun with this car. I continue to have so much fun with this car. I don't care it's destroyed. It sat too near some super glue at one point and the windscreen's gone all frosty. I don't really care. Revo Slot makes spares. At some point I'll probably get a new windscreen glass and change it over. A couple of interesting things about this. When they first released these cars, everybody said the same thing. The roll bar inside is incredibly low, and it doesn't sit right. Something's not right about the interior. But never mind, because when you get to this one, Revo Slot have obviously retooled it slightly, or done something to the roll bar. Sits perfectly in the right place. Everything looks great. The other interesting thing is they've tweaked the handling slightly. This one does handle better, and I was trying to work out why, and I got the measures out and things, and I had a quick check, and it's slightly wider across the back. And I'll save you the trouble, you can't really see it, but there's actually 0.5 millimetre longer on that spacer and 0.5 millimetre longer on that spacer than it is on this car. So there's it might even be slightly more than that, 1 millimetre, 1.5 millimetre, slightly wider tweaked. This is why some people who had the second release of them, had a few troubles with tyre clearance, because they are slightly wider, but they do handle better as a result. And as I've mentioned in other videos, Revo Slot have obviously sorted out some of the gear mesh things. This one runs incredibly quietly. Of all the Group 2s, I think this is the quietest, and it's one of the newer designs. Overall, if you were going to get a Group 2 Revo Slot and you didn't know which one to get to start with, I would recommend you get the Mark 1 Escort. I think they're great. I know it's not a car that came out as a new body in this year, but I think it's probably a good Slot Car of the Year contender, simply because it's improved throughout the year. This is not quite the same car as this one. So there we are. A great car. Unfortunately, it's not a great joke. So, for the last time before Christmas, stand by for Mrs. Slottar's terrible Christmas joke. Brace yourselves. What do road crews use at the North Pole? Snow cones. That joke is a load of bollards.